I'm really excited to share what I have with you today. We are going to be talking today about our short niche statements, our long niche statements, and then our audience hangouts. And then, like I said earlier, I added some content that I think is going to be hugely valuable for you when you actually get into the sales process and kind of figure out how to get people into your programs. So get everyone in. Okay, so let's start out. So in order to, one thing that's so important before I get into that is that you really need to be clear in your niche statements. You need to be able to connect with the people that you are serving from the get-go. So your niche statements are things that are going to be posted on your email signature, on your website, on your Instagram, on your Facebook. So these are short little phrases that tell people who you work with, how you do it, and exactly what you do. Okay, so we're going to be going through how exactly to write those, and we're actually going to write them today. So I'm going to give you some time. There might be some awkward pauses and silences, but I really want to give you time to actually write these today to get the work done so that after the workshop, you can go and post them. Okay, so we need to answer these 4 questions before we write out your niche statement. So there's 4 things that you must know that have to go into your niche statements. So the first thing is, who do you serve? And we talked about this a little bit yesterday. So hopefully you've done your homework and you've gotten an idea of who exactly it is that you serve. I want you to write it down on your piece of paper right now in one phrase, or you can write it in the chat box. If you already have it down on your paper, write it in the chat, okay? That way other people can kind of see too and maybe connect with you. So who do you serve in one phrase? All right. Now, the next question is, what do you do? So this is a verb. I'm not an English major, I'm pretty sure it's a verb. But what do you do? Do you coach? Do you create content? Do you build communities? What do you do? What's the action that you take? This should be a pretty simple one. Provide, there are a bunch of different options, but those are some examples. You coach, create content, you build communities. What do you do? Everyday athlete just like you. Awesome. That's from who? That's previous question. I serve overwhelmed moms looking to improve their health, energy, and confidence. Awesome. I coach, personal training, nutrition service. Okay, so personal training and nutrition service. Get a little bit more into the what for that one. So what do you do with personal training? Do you actually run fitness programs? Do you do group programs? Do you do one-on-one personal training? What exactly do you do? Do you do strength training primarily? Get a little bit more detailed into the what. Yeah. Okay, so now, what is the transformation that happens from your service? So what happens to that person after they go through their program or they use your service? What's the transformation? So for example, for me, it would be that my clients have saved hours of work each week, and they now have marketing materials and client resources to improve their value as a coach and business owner, right? So they've saved hours and they've improved their value as a coach and business owner. Okay, so what is the transformation that your clients get after working with you? Okay, and so there's some people just rolling in. Hopefully you're connected to audio. So we're writing out our niche statements right now, and I'm giving you the time to actually write this, because right after this workshop, I want you guys to all go and use these niche statements and to post them. So just to recap, niche statements are phrases that basically tell your audience who you work with, what you do, and how you do it in a very short sentence or few sentences that can be found on your website, on your Instagram, on your email signature. And it's kind of that first introduction. So it's these phrases that we're going to write and we're going to make sure are posted in the appropriate places. So the first 2 questions that were prior to this is, who do you serve and what do you do? So who do you serve for me would be health and wellness coaches or health and fitness coaches. And then the what would be that I provide resources. Okay, I provide or I create content. Okay, that's the what. Now the transformation is what happens to that person after they go through your program. What do they come out with? What's different about that person, okay, or their business? Okay, and now the next thing is, how do you do it? Okay, so this would be like your signature program. So do you have a signature program? Maybe you have a 5-step method. Maybe you have support groups. So how exactly do you provide that transformation? How do you get there? Okay, and be a little more specific with this. So it's not just that you coach. How do you coach? What do you do? Okay, how do you do it? So for example, for me, it would be that I have editable plans, client-ready resources, and social media content as templates that can be rebranded as their own. So that's how I do it. I give them those templates so that they can then rebrand as their own. That's how I improve their value. I get their transformation, okay? So go ahead and write that down. Okay. So at some point, I'm going to have you guys post your short niche statements, but let's start with your long niche statements. So these niche statements are, I want you to really think of them as your first introduction. So it might be the only chance that you have to entice that person to work with you, okay? So that if they don't feel that you're speaking directly to them when they first look at your website or your Instagram, then you've already lost them. They need to know that you could potentially help them. Now, your long niche statements can be found on your website. It could be found on featured articles that you're in. It could be found on marketing materials such as flyers. It also could be part of a longer bio. For example, if you're on somebody else's podcast and they're introducing you, this may be what they use to introduce you with, okay? So these are your longer niche statements. They can be a few sentences long and you're giving a little bit more detail about what you do, but not so much that people stop reading or listening, okay? So it's still relatively short, just a few sentences, but it can be that long. Whereas your short niche statements need to fit in a certain space. This doesn't necessarily need to fit in a certain space, okay? Long enough that people really understand, but short enough that people don't stop reading or listening. So I'll give you an example of mine. So my long niche statement is, I save health and fitness coaches from banging their head against the wall after spending hours behind the computer, creating resources that they promise to get their clients. My professionally designed editable meal plans, client resources, and marketing materials can be rebranded as their own. This helps coaches take their business to the next level by improving their value as a coach while saving them hours per week so they can focus their energy on things that matter most, okay? So it's 3 sentences long. I'm saying the who, I'm saying what I do, I'm saying how I do it, and the transformation that they get. So those 4 questions that we just answered previously are all within that long niche statement, okay? So you can touch a little bit on people's pain points here because it is a bit longer and their desires, right? So at the end of it, I said so they can focus their energy on what matters most, right? And they've saved them hours. So you can touch on it just a little bit here. You're not going into detail necessarily on their pain points, but more on the transformation, okay? All right. Yeah, Nicole said, this has literally been the biggest struggle for me. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to get everything you do into one short phrase, right? But if you make it a little bit more broad, so this can be a little bit more broad, you definitely are narrowing it down on the who. You want to be pretty specific about that. But the rest of it can be a bit more broad. You just want to make sure that when people read it, they know that it is you that can help them, that you have the right tools to be able to help them. So Taylor, you wrote, I help busy professional women take charge of their lives by taking back their health through my 90-day health freedom transformation program through in-person and virtual coaching sessions. Yes, so that's very good. So you have the who, professional woman, busy professional woman, take charge of their lives. Yep, so the who, busy professional woman. How, so you are doing that 90-day health and freedom transformation program. Amazing. Yep, and you're coaching them through virtual sessions, so you have that in there. Yep. And then I would put a little bit more about their transformation in your long niche statement, because Take charge of their lives could mean a lot of different things. You could take charge of your lives in your personal life, in your business, in your fitness, and your, there's so many different areas that you could take charge of your life in. So I would be just a little bit more specific in that area with your long niche statement. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else wants to write those? I know this is a hard one. This is a long one to type in the chat box, but if you happen to be on the computer writing anyway, copy and paste it into the chat. Yes, a lot of good things here. 12-week coaching program. So I'm just looking back on the previous statements. Some really good things. Okay. Sarah wrote, I empower busy moms to make themselves a priority for just 2% of the day. Very specific. Busy moms, that's their transformation, to make themselves a priority for 2% of the day. Very good. Through a 12-week wellness transformation program, so they have more energy, love the way they look and feel, ultimately having more great days with their families. So that's really good. The only part that I would maybe add to that, again, for the long niche statement, so you have the 12-week transformation program. What do you do during that 12-week transformation program? Is that an in-person program? Is it a digital program? Maybe write just a little bit more about that how in there so that people know or really it's the what. Are you coaching them? Is it a digital program? That type of thing. So a little bit more about the how. Simple nutrition for complicated life. I help men and women 40 plus wade through the confusing information about healthy eating by creating personal tailored meals and providing face-to-face coaching to help them reach a healthy weight and lifestyle at this new age and stage. Yes, so you definitely have the who, healthy eating, tailored meal plans. Yep, so you provide these face-to-face coaching. So yep, that's what you do. You have the how with your tailored meal plans. Using information. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. It's a little, you might want to change the order of it. You have it all in there. It's really great. Yeah, it's not necessarily too wordy. It's just maybe just kind of change the order of things so it flows a little bit better. But that's awesome, Vicki. Nice. Okay. All right. So hopefully you guys have all of that written down. Now we're going to move on to our short niche statements. So this is where you are going to put this in your email signature or like a shorter featured post. So for example, if somebody's writing about you on their Instagram, something like that. So it's a little bit shorter than the one before. Email signature is kind of really where this is going to hang out most. So think of that. When you send an email to somebody, what do you want it to say on the bottom? Okay. So that if they're asking you a question about your program or this or that, and they get a response from you, what should that say on the bottom so that they know that you work specifically with them? Let's see, Lindsay, did I write? Okay, Lindsay wrote, I'm an acupuncturist and yoga teacher who helps young female professionals heal their hormones, weight loss, and transform their health outcomes through leadership coaching in 5-element acupuncture and holistic functional medicine, Chinese herb content. Yes, good, transform outcomes, 5-element. Yep, I would just give again, a tiny bit more about the what. So functional medicine and Chinese herb content. So are people coming into the office to see you? Are you coaching them one-on-one? Again, is it group program? So just a little bit more about that, what you do. But that's good. You've got most of it in there. Okay. Nicole, I think this is your short niche statement. Helping busy professional women struggling with disruptive symptoms take charge of their wellness with my signature wellness blueprint via online one-on-one guidance. Perfect for your short. That's perfect for your short statement. You have busy professional women who are struggling with this with your wellness blueprint. So that's your signature program. That's what you do, and then or the how you do it. The what you do is the one-on-one guidance. Yep, that's perfect. And instead of maybe women who are struggling with disruptive symptoms take charge of their wellness. So maybe, again, the take charge of their wellness is a little bit broad. If you can narrow that down, I know it's very short, a short statement, so it's hard to do. If you can narrow it down just a little bit. Okay, now we're moving on to the extra short. So this is going to be found on your Instagram and Facebook bio. I have to make a point here because I communicate with hundreds of coaches on a weekly basis through Instagram and Facebook because coaches are buying my products, so they're asking me questions. They're sometimes they get locked out of their account, something like that. So they're emailing me or and messaging me on Facebook and Instagram often. So the crazy thing to me is that they'll message me with a question and they'll say like, hey, I'm locked out of my account. Can you help me? So that's it. They don't give me their name or their email. Hey, I'm locked out of my account. Okay. So I go to their bio to say, well, who is this person? It says nothing about who they are. And this is their business page. It doesn't even say their name. It doesn't say their business name. It says nothing about what they do. So not only can I not identify this person, but I also have no idea what they do if I was a potential customer, right? And so it surprises me every time I get on and I'm like, oh, interesting that they chose in their Instagram bio to put like kind of a like catchy name, like a fake name, you know, and then with some emojis. And then below that, it says like lover of nature or hiker enthusiast or something like that, which it is absolutely great to connect with your audience with what you love and what you like to do, but you have your entire Instagram page to do that. Okay. So things that you love to do that can be those connecting points, like, oh, she's like me, because people do like to work with people who are kind of similar to them or who get them and understand them. And so you have your whole page to post pictures of you hiking. Don't put it in your bio. Don't waste that space in your tiny little bio to say that you love to do something. That space should be reserved for who you are. It should say your name and or your business name, and then exactly what you do and who you help. Okay, especially if this is your business page. So this is a very short statement. So for example, mine is just a little bit shorter than the previous one, saving health and fitness coaches hours per week and helping to elevate their business by creating professionally done client-ready resources and meal plans. Okay, so it's very short. It fits right in that bio. So it's one sentence, okay? And it says the who, what you do, how you do it, and the transformation that you provide, okay? I'm gonna read back on some of these other ones that I missed. So let's see, from the prior one, I think I got that. Kelly wrote, I help menopausal women feel better by naturally regulating their hormones and enhancing gut function using non-HRT methods. I assist menopausal women in gaining more energy, sleep better, and losing, I know what you mean, losing weight so they can feel more empowered and self-assured during menopause. Yep, so pretty good. Just trying to think, menopausal woman, the how. Yep, through a little bit more on what exactly you do again. So feel better by natural value using non-HRT methods. So do you coach them through that? How do you like what is the what that you do there? But very good. We're getting close. Okay. All right. Registered dietitian who helps women struggling with hormonal balance heal their symptoms naturally through individual coaching, support, and community. So that's really good for your short statement. Perfect. Love it. Help women live through anxiety and not with anxiety. Yep. So good. You can elaborate on that a little bit. Again, how do you do that? How do you help people live through anxiety and not with anxiety? And you could shorten that down. Like that's a cute phrase. I like it. But you could shorten that down a little bit to just say like, I help women deal with or manage their anxiety. And this is how I do it with a little bit more of that how. Okay. I think you guys are getting it. Okay. So give me a thumbs up if you feel like you're on the right track with this. Good. Okay. Thumbs up. Awesome. Okay. So now that we just did that, part of your homework is going to be to post these things where we just talked about on your website, on your email signature, on your Instagram page. Okay. So now that you have them written down, fine tune them a little bit if you need to after the workshop, but go ahead and post them. You guys just did the work. Didn't take that long. You did the work. Go ahead and post it. Okay. So now where do your clients hang out? So where are you actually going to find your clients and get people to work with you? So I want you guys to start thinking about, now that you know who your ideal client is, now that you've really honed in on who they are, what they do, what they expect from you, what platforms are they on? Are they at local gyms? Are they at schools? Are they at different events? What other professionals do they see? That can be huge because let's say, for example, you're working with somebody who has chronic pain. Well, chances are they've been going to a chiropractor for 10 years, right? And that chiropractor might be like, oh man, I can't do anything more for this person. Someone help me out. They might be a good referral source for you. So think about what other professionals they see, and then make sure that when you connect with that person and you go there to kind of advertise yourself, that you're providing value for them as well too. So you might provide a free in-service for their clients, or you might provide some free materials for their clients, that type of thing. It doesn't have to be a ton of your time, doesn't have to be a ton of things that that you are working on, but just a little bit to provide value and to remind them of who you are. Okay, so let's talk about social media, because that's kind of I use social media a lot, and it's not because I ever had a huge following. I have a bigger, I still don't have a huge following, but I have a bigger following now than I had a year ago. But that's not where I get my business, is not through free organic traffic. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about my system after we go through this. So first of all, just to kind of take a look at this. So, over 80% of Americans are using YouTube. Over 70-ish% of Americans are using Facebook. And then there's a bunch of other platforms that people are on as well. Now, Instagram, for example, their average age, this doesn't mean that if you don't fall within this average age of 18 to 34 for your ideal client, that you shouldn't be advertising here, because there are 2.35 billion users on Instagram. Okay, so that many people are on Instagram, and almost 60% of them get on every single day. Okay, so these are platforms where there are a ton of people and they're logging on every single day. Facebook, same thing, but even more. They have almost 3 billion users, and almost 70% of those users are logging on every single day. So Facebook and Instagram is not dead. If people say like, oh, you stop advertising on Facebook and Instagram, I can promise you that it's not dead and it still works. Okay. LinkedIn, much less users and much less engagement. However, a much higher, I didn't write that on here, but a much higher income. So their average income on LinkedIn is much, much higher. So if you're working with top performers or that type of thing, or people who need to be able to really afford a higher level service, LinkedIn might be a good option for you. YouTube, I don't know how accurate these numbers are, because YouTube is huge. 2.6 billion users. It may be more than that. Over 60% of the users log in every single day and spend a lot of time on YouTube. So here's the thing: if you don't have a presence on social media, you will get missed. And I'm not saying that you need to go post every day, that you need to be spending so much time on reels and videos and that type of thing. You don't have to do that unless you're trying to be an Instagram sensation. You really do not have to do that. But what you do have to do is post semi-regularly. It doesn't have to be every day, but post pretty regularly, just to show people that you are passionate about what you do and that you are still in business. Okay, people want to see recent posts. If they only see a post from a year ago, they'll wonder, is she still doing this or not, right? So the thing is that when somebody hears about you, whether it be through a Facebook or Instagram ad, or whether it be through a friend or a colleague or a referral source, the first thing they're going to do is go to look for you on Instagram or Facebook. Okay, they might try to find your website, but chances are they won't be able to find it, because you're not going to show up on the top list of Google, right? So they're likely going to be going into your Facebook and your Instagram to see what you do. Okay, so you need to have a presence on there, and you need to show that you are doing what they are interested in. Okay, so that's just something to note. Yeah, and I kind of already talked about, so again, just to reiterate, in your bio, you must have your name, you must have your business name, and you must have that brief statement about what you do. Okay, all right. These are the slides that I just added this morning, so bear with me here. So I am going to give you a rundown of exactly how I get people through the door and make sales and make money. So I run Facebook and Instagram ads. So if you can see here, I run Facebook and Instagram advertisements. These are paid advertisements that I'm running. Okay, what they get from that, they are directed to a sales page where they see a low end offer. So it's either a $27 or a $32 offer. Yours doesn't have to be that price if you decide to do this, but that I suggest it be a low end offer. Those are people that kind of the impulse buys. Okay. They're like, oh, this looks interesting. Let me read a little bit more about it. Oh yeah. She's talking to me. Okay. Yep. I'm going to check this out. So that low end offer. Now, on that same page, they have the opportunity to buy into one additional product, which is sold at a high discount. Okay. So the thing about these products are that they have to be extremely valuable. So if somebody were to pay me for this product, for me to create it for them from scratch, just for them, I would have to charge over $1,000 to make it. That's how much of my time has gone into it. That's as much value that is truly in the product. Okay. It's not just like a marketing scam when you say, you put your stack and you say, oh, it's worth this much, buy now for this much. It actually is worth that much if I were to create it for one individual person. Okay. So how much time are you spending on it? How much would somebody pay you? So for example, I recently hired a chef to help me with some of the meal plans. Yay, if you're part of the Wellness Vault. So I recently hired a chef. I pay her $75 per meal. You know how much that adds up to for a 30 recipe pack, right? That is the value of it. That is the true value if you were to pay somebody to do it. Okay. So just understand this has to be a huge value. If you're selling garbage, no one's gonna buy it. Okay. So then they have the option to buy into something else too with that. Now, with that, after they purchase, they're directed to another page, which is my membership page. Now, this is my product that I want everybody in. This is where I want people to live. This is my recurring secure income. Okay. This is what I spend most of my time on. So at the end, they have the option to buy into your membership. Now, if they don't buy into the membership, that's okay. They still bought these two products and they still have to log on to your portal. So you then send them an email and they have to log on to your portal. And there's a purpose for that. Okay. You don't want to send all your PDFs through email because then that's it. They're gone. You've sent them what they need and then they don't need you anymore. Okay. So plus, you likely will have too much that won't fit in an email anyway. I couldn't send my stuff through an email even if I wanted to, but I want them to be on this portal. Okay. So after that, now they have more options, more opportunities to buy. And this is when we talked about yesterday about becoming a brand. So you are now the person for that person. You're their go-to when they need something related to the topic that they purchased initially from, that they go to you first. So you have to think about what else they might need, what other things that they might want or need. Okay. So you're building this huge email list and you're building it hopefully for free, or you're making money while building it because you're selling these other products. Okay. So I've worked with a lot of other gurus who say like, oh, put some freebies out there, run some ads to it. Well, then you're building this email list of people who are getting freebies and not buying from you, and you're paying for that email list. The way that I do it, I'm not paying for an email list. I'm getting everybody through the door. I'm making some money off of that, making a decent amount of money, but I'm not freaked out if it crashes, because it will. Technology fails sometimes, and then there are days where Facebook ads just don't perform for whatever reason. But you have this membership program that you're building, so you're safe. So you have this email list. This is the second opportunity for people to buy with you. Now, the email list, you're going to drive emails, both automated emails and also monthly, biweekly or weekly or monthly, however you decide to run it, campaigns to your list to try to get people, again, to buy into the membership. If they don't do that, you're also going to send campaigns to additional products that you might have. Once you become a brand, once you build up enough, you'll send them some emails to additional products that you might have. And this is where your email list becomes valuable, okay? They like you, they like the product that they got previously, and they need something else additional. They need the next step, okay? Now, opportunity number 2 for them to buy from you. So they've logged into your portal now, right? So they've gotten your product, they logged into your portal. This is the second opportunity for them to buy from you. They see all the other products that you have listed, which could include your membership, which maybe they didn't opt in on the first buy, but they take a look at your product and they're like, oh my gosh, there's so much value here. I'm going to buy into this membership, right? And it's right there, right in front of them when they log in, okay? So that's the second opportunity for them to buy. Now you might be thinking, how on earth am I going to create all of these products that are worth a lot of money, right? How am I going to have the time to create all that? Okay. This is my baby, my membership. Okay. All of the content that's in the membership for, let's say, a month, in mine, it's available for 8 weeks, but let's just say your content is available for that month and then it disappears. But now you've built up all that content that people will never see again in the membership because you can't run the same stuff in the membership over again. So you roll that into new products that you then sell individually at a slightly higher price. Okay. So your members are winning because they're getting this for half the price, right? That you are then selling for a higher price to then get people back into the membership. Are you guys seeing how this adds up? Are you totally confused? It's okay if you are, because I know that this was a lot and this was kind of a last minute, let me show you how I do this type of thing. So now I have all these products that I've created via the membership. I'm creating content every single month for the membership. And then I'm now running ads to each individual product, right? Which is then funneling more people into my membership. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you're like, I'm kind of getting there. Okay. I don't expect you to know this perfectly. Oh, there's people in the waiting room. So I don't expect you guys to know this perfectly. This is just kind of an introduction to how this works and getting your wheels turning, right? So are you starting to think, okay, there is an easier way. It's not just one thing that I have to sell. It's not just one program that people are getting enrolled in. And I don't have to just kind of run ads to that. It's more, you're building this network, this huge web, right? Of how you're funneling all these people in to potentially one product that is then giving you content for all the other products, okay? So Val, will you show us how to use your products to create offers for our clients? Okay, so yes. So for example, so I sell templates and meal plans and all that. So if you are a member of the Wellness Vault, this is what Julie's asking, is if you are a member of the Wellness Vault and you get access to my products, how can you do this? So, you would have to come up with your own product, of course. I can't come up with a product for you. But let's just say, I'm thinking of ideas off the top of my head, but let's just say you work with women who are dealing in menopause. I know a lot of you said this. So menopausal women who are dealing with issues later in life and need some help with that. So you might have a larger product that you coach them on certain lifestyle strategies, you coach them, and this could all be digital coaching. These can all be through videos for the small product that you're then funneling into your membership. These could all be digital. So you could be running videos about lifestyle strategies, and then my meal plans or my client resources can all be part of that, right? And so you might already have the content just from the content that I'm giving you every single month to basically create a whole program, which for me has taken me 6 months to do. You know what I mean? So you have a lot of content right there that you could use in your programs. Now, I will say this just as a save myself. You can't use any of my content in paid advertisements. It can be within the program that they then buy, but please don't use any of my images because then you're competing with me right? So that doesn't make sense. Also, you can't sell any of my products as editable templates. Okay, so you can't resell them to health coaches for them to edit, right? But you can absolutely use them in your programs. If you're advertising that you have this program and you're giving meal plans and you're giving recipe ideas and you're giving different resources for them to reduce their inflammation and to sleep better, all of that is in the membership, is in the Wellness Vault that you could then roll into your own product and have right in there in the digital product. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question, Julie. Yeah, like your gut health workbook. Yep, like you could absolutely, if you're doing a gut health program, put that in there. You already have the content. It's valuable content that your clients could use. And then maybe all you have to do is make the videos, right? Make the videos to get people to understand it, because you'll have to do a little bit more coaching with your clients. Yeah. I'm assuming you would have to help create all the product and email lists to delegate the extra work. I'm a personal trainer and a nutritionist, and it gets really overwhelming to do this myself while still having work-life balance. You absolutely could. You absolutely can hire people to help you. I hire a lot of people off of Upwork. These are virtual assistants that I hire. So if you need some people who, like, for example, I just hired a copywriter to help me with one of my sales pages. I have hired my chef off of there. Who else? I've hired editors. My editor came from Upwork. So yes, you can, hire people to help you out, save you some time on the back end if you have that, that extra income to do so. Okay. All right. So where else could you go and find your dream client in your referral source? So maybe some of you are thinking, those advertisements are not for me. I don't know if I want to do that. I'm not there yet. You might not be there yet, and you might need a little bit of time to get there, to figure out what your program is going to be, to figure out how you can help people, maybe run people through it a few times to actually figure out, is this something that people want? Get to know them, really hear their messaging so that you know what to put on the sales page. So you can start with people, local people or free organic clients that you're getting as well. So you can go to local gyms, offer a challenge. Challenges work really well for that type of setting, and they also work really well for a digital product as well. Healthcare facilities. So think of, a lot of you said that you work with postpartum women. So think about postpartum support groups, right? They're all over the place. A lot of them are virtual now because of COVID. So you may not just have to focus on local. You could actually reach out to a larger web of people as well too through that. Again, we talked about different like chiropractic, physical therapy clinics, acupuncture, massage, all these people who have clients that are similar to you, but you offer a different service, and you can actually bounce people back and forth, right? So they can be a referral source to you, but you may also be able to be a referral source to them. So it's a win-win, okay? Podcasts, and I'm not talking about hosting your own podcast. I'm talking about being on somebody else's podcast. So if you want to be on somebody's podcast, you may want to reach out to them. They're generally not reaching out to too many people, or they don't want to. They want people reaching out to them. And you need to offer something of value to their listeners, right? That's what they give to their listeners, is their podcast, and they get paid via advertisements or whatever they're selling. So you need to offer some value to their listeners. So think of what you can give them. Hiking groups, teams, churches, and then shared audiences. So similar to podcasts, but do you get on Facebook Lives with people who are, again, in a similar niche to you? So some people might be just looking for content to put on their page, and other people might be looking for, partners. But if you, like yesterday, we saw some people are working with pelvic health, and then some people are working with postpartum women on helping with their anxiety. Those people can match up and do a Facebook Live and both share it on your Facebook or your Instagram or wherever if you have your own podcast, on your own podcast, wherever it may be. And now you've advertised yourself to more than just your own audience, to their audience as well. Okay. So these are additional places where you can find clients to work with. Okay. So today was a lot. Wow. I can't believe we almost went through an hour here. So day 2 action step. So we talked about your niche statement. You're going to go post your niche statements on your website, your social media, and on your email signature. Okay. Number 2, you're going to create some content that could be client specific for a specific transformation that you've outlined below. So think about some content that you could have either in a digital program or with a one-on-one or group coaching program, whatever it may be. But you've identified your niche. You've really figured out, where to find them. Start developing some content that could be useful for them. And then number 3, determine your audience hangout. So pick one spot at least over the next 24 hours where you want to get visible. Okay. Reach out to somebody who has a podcast. Maybe stop by the local gym and see if they have any programs and see if you could get involved, or, create some content for social media, however you want to be visible. So that is your day 2 homework. And I'm going to leave you off with an inspirational quote. So our obsession with certainty leads us astray, and why all progress takes place in uncertain conditions. So if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, the feeling of overwhelm means that you are on the right track, that you're thinking differently, that new ideas are coming to mind, right? So we all get overwhelmed sometimes, but if you can make that your motivation and get through that, and rather than trying to avoid it, amazing things will happen. Okay. You just have to step into the uncertainty and be a little bit, take the risk, take the jump. Okay. So I'm going to open it up to questions now. Madison, Nicole, I just see one from you. Not a fan of free resources. I have gone back and forth on this. So yeah, I'm not a fan on running advertisements to free resources, because then you're spending money on what the algorithm has predicted for. The algorithm is going to send it to people who just opt into everything, okay? Because that's what it does. If you're looking for leads, if you're sending out a lead magnet and you're paying for it, that's what the algorithm will do. So you'll get a ton of people that you've paid to be on your email list that have absolutely no interest in buying. So for me personally, I don't like to run freebies to that. I feel like I'm wasting money. I don't get a lot of purchases. I'd much rather run advertisements to a paid program and then do what's called a two-step order form. So a two-step order form is when you have you enter your name and your email, and then you press continue, and then you enter your payment details after that. So you will still get people on your list that didn't buy, but were on the fence. And those people many times will become buyers. So you run what's called an abandoned cart email automation to them afterwards, where you say, hey, I saw you were interested in this, but you didn't purchase, and this is why you should, right? So you still get those people on your list. You won't get nearly as many as you get with a freebie, but you will get way more sales. So on that note, you don't want to be looking at like vanity measures. So vanity measures is how many likes you get on Facebook, how many people follow you, how many people opt into your freebies. Those are vanity measures. They don't actually result in sales. So don't even pay any attention to that. What you're looking for is, are you making a profit? Are you making an income on what you're doing? Okay, those are the metrics that you want to look for. What do you use to automate your emails? I currently use ActiveCampaign. Which is an amazing resource. So ActiveCampaign has been so good for me. It does a lot more that I don't do. There's so many different features that you can use. I will say though, I'm at the point now that it's very expensive. They keep charging me more and more from the more users that I have, the more emails that I have on there. And I'm thinking about switching over. There's a new thing from a course that I took. It's Clients on Autopilot, I think is what it's called. It is a little bit expensive to get through the door, because you'd want to buy into the thing that allows you to do some membership programs on there. And so I think it's like $450 a month, something like that, to buy into it. So it's more expensive than if you're just getting out. If you're just getting started, you might want to do something like Kajabi or ClickFunnels for your sales pages and your memberships, and then also have ActiveCampaign. If you have ClickFunnels just created a 2.0 version where you can host everything on there. So you can have your email list, you can have your memberships and your digital programs, and you can also have your sales funnels on there. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Again, it might be very good for a person who doesn't have a ton of users yet, but it caps you out, I think, at 20, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure I saw 20,000 users you can only have on there for, I believe it's for your, who's using your digital products. But if you take off, you're going to actually get there quite quickly. And so just keep that in mind. It is definitely a good place to start out, because it's all in one. And it can be easy to use. I actually still do use ClickFunnels for my sales pages, but I use MemberVault, which is a different site for my memberships. And then I use ActiveCampaign for my emails campaigns. So everything communicates and talks with each other. The tech is confusing, but it works really well for me. So, and that's something that we kind of talked about yesterday was, Susanna, I think, had asked if I do a course where I coach people how to do this. And I am thinking about doing a beta program where I actually bring you through the entire process of how to set up your sales funnel, how to set up your email campaigns, how to get everything to talk to each other, because it is confusing to do it and it has to be done right. Otherwise, it's very frustrating. If you miss a step and you don't know where you missed a step, it's very frustrating to try to troubleshoot that. But it also can work very well. Okay. So is there a resource or person service that can help me distill down my client niche into statements? Yeah, Janelle, I'm not really sure. I mean, there's a lot of people. I don't know who to send you to kind of kind of hone down a little bit more on that. It might just take some good thinking on your end. All right, Lynn, how can I see the recording today? I missed the first 20 minutes due to late patient. No worries, just email me after. Okay. Yeah. Dijon said try AI. Yeah.
I have a question,
Yeah,
Valerie.
absolutely.
Thanks again. This was great. I will be emailing you for the copy because I was trying to do 2 meetings at one time. So the
No
beginning
problem.
I missed. But
No problem.
question about the marketing of the meal plans.
Yes.
So I understand we can't run ads or anything to them, but we
Yep.
can, however, we can have them, like, say if we had them on our beacon or something like that in our store, in our like wellness library, we can have them there.
Yes. Yep. So if you're selling it directly on your website, again, not as templates, but if you're selling them just as one of your products to your health coaching clients on your website, that's fine. Yeah. It's just that if that image shows up on Instagram as a paid ad, people will be very confused, right? If they see yours and then they see mine, and
Oh
it's like,
yeah, not your,
right?
yeah, not like what it looks like and all of that, and
Yeah.
and definitely changing or whatever. But say, I guess what I am trying to get down to is,
Yeah.
so I've been getting into Pinterest here lately.
Yeah.
Just trying to really work it. Actually got my views up to 20K a month, so I'm doing pretty good.
Nice.
But
Very good.
so my question is this: if I wanted to start doing meal plans, like not meal plans, but recipes on there, because that is something that is going crazy on Pinterest. So if I wanted to start doing recipes and I was directing them to my website or whatever,
Yeah.
that is not in violation of you, right?
No, that's fine. You can do
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make
Mhm.
sure I wasn't violating you in any way, because I
No.
appreciate what you do. Like, this is absolutely phenomenal. I've been with you
Oh,
in
thank
the
you.
vault for, I guess, over 6 months, or longer, and I
Amazing.
have not been disappointed. So
Oh, thank
thank
you.
you. I know I have not utilized it enough yet, but I am finally to the point of starting to understand this funnel magic. So
Yep.
yeah, so I can't wait to watch the
Yep.
replay. Thank you again.
Awesome. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Any other questions? Okay, guys. Hopefully I'm not leaving you off like totally confused, but if you have any follow-up questions and you want to ask me through email, go ahead and shoot me an email. I'd be happy to respond to that. Otherwise, I will see you back here tomorrow. Okay. Bye.